everybody, my name is Ashley and welcome back to my channel, Worth the Read, where we talk about books that are worth your time reading. I haven't shot a video in a couple weeks, the end of the school year. If you work in education, you know it can get really hectic. So I've been going nonstop for the week. So by the time Sunday comes, I was exhausted, but I'm back. School's over, another successful school year. So today's video will be my May wrap up. I had an excellent reading month in May. I read 4 books. I don't know why. I think it was because the books that I was reading were very entertaining to me, so I was flying through them. This is the first month that I've ever read 4 books, and 3 of the 4 are over 300 pages. So, let's get right into it. So the first book I read is a book by an independent publisher, and I'm going to do a video of books that are independent publishers that you can find, books that you would never know anything about that are amazing on Amazon because they self-publish through Amazon. And this book, it was a sequel. It's Varsity by Laura Goldson. This is a YA novel about a girl. Okay, so this is a sequel. So I'm going to go in further detail when I review the first and the second one, but it's basically the aftermath of a previous school year where a young lady is an outcast and she has her group set of friends, and her boyfriend is her best friend's brother, and they have their own little bubble and world they live in, but her mom's on her back about joining a school activity. So she tries out for varsity cheerleading and makes a team, surprisingly. But the varsity cheerleading squad is basically run like a mafia. And if you don't do what you're told to do, you go missing. So that was what the first book's about. The second book is about the year after she joins the varsity football team and dealing with the things that happen in consequence to what happened in the first book. So I really can't go into the second book without going into the first book with more detail. But it was a good read, enjoyable. It's really short, 198 pages, 89 pages. So it was enjoyable. If you're looking for an independent publisher, and you can purchase this on Amazon, the author's name is Laura Goldson. I think she has about 5 or 6 books. I enjoyed Varsity. I just happened to stumble across it. Well, no. You know how Amazon does the whole algorithm of what you would like based on your purchases? This came up in my algorithm. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the second one. The only thing I can say about these books are it's a YA novel, and what I don't like about YA novels are it seems like teenagers make the dumbest decisions. And some of their decisions, to me, aren't realistic to what a teenager would do. Just like I said in the Sarah Shepard, The Perfectionist series, the whole time, somebody would have to say, maybe we should tell an adult. Just like Pretty Little Liars. Maybe we should tell an adult. And with the YA books, that's the theme that I don't like in YA, because everybody tries to handle their issues and their problems on their own without telling an adult. And it just makes the situation worse. And in reality, hopefully, teenagers will only get so deep before they say, look, I need help. I got to tap out. This is not for me. So that's my only pet peeve about this book. Again, teenagers dealing with adult situations and nobody says, let me tell an adult, I need help with this. But other than that, I give it 3.5 stars. It was pretty good. It was enjoyable. If you're looking for a quick beach read or, something to read in between to like refresh your brain through the kind of novel that you're not used to reading, I suggest this one. The second book I finished this month is Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. Now, I have a complete book review on this book, so I'm not going to go into major details. I enjoyed this book. I give it 3.5 as well out of 4 stars. This book, out of 5 stars. So like 3.9, closer to 4, but not quite 4. Um, this book is about a young lady, Mary, who at a young age, I think she's like 7 or 8, she is accused of murdering a Caucasian baby that her mom is babysitting, and she's a black girl. So it starts with um, her life after jail. So she's been in jail for several years, and now she's in a group home, which is technically still jail. And she's trying to deal with things. She's very intelligent, and she wants to take the SATs, but then she ends up getting pregnant. So it's her life in the group home, and then there's a kind of a mystery because you get glimpses of what really happened the night that the baby was killed, and by the end of it, you don't know, but you think you know what really happened. And like I said, the author did. She tells the character tells the story of what really happened multiple times throughout the book, but you don't find out until later on in the book. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed like, or she's gonna finally tell the story, and then you don't get it. Then she tells the story to somebody else. You think you're gonna find out what happened, and then you don't get it. So I enjoyed it. I'll give this book a 4 stars. I would say 4 stars for this read. Again, this is allegedly, if you can see, by Tiffany Jackson. Definitely a great book to read. The next book I read the month of May was Dread Nation by Jessica Ireland. I read this book. This is my first zombie book. Let me say that. This is my first Civil War time frame book. Let me say that. I love this book. I give this book 4 stars, 4.5 stars. This book was great. This book is about a girl named Jane who is a black girl, and she's born during the Civil War. And the North is fighting the South, but then all of a sudden zombies start walking the earth. So the government decides that we're no longer going to fight each other, and we have to put all our efforts into fighting these zombies, or we're no longer going to be around to fight over anything at all. So they get rid of slavery, but Native Americans and African Americans no longer are allowed to be slaves, but they have to go to these boarding schools that teach them how to fight zombies. Which is, in other words, is another form of slavery, because they have no choice. They have to go to these schools. They have to learn how to fight zombies. And the girls, once they learn how to fight the zombies, the girls and the boys, they're partnered with a wealthy or white person to be their bodyguard, personal bodyguard. Now, Jane is smart. Jane's mother is white. I'm not going to go into that because it's a spoiler, but her mother is white, so of course her father is black. But she's not light enough to pass. If you don't know what passing is when black people were so light and fair skinned they were able to pass as white, but which was a good thing for some people, but a bad thing, because if they were found out that they were white, they were black, they were killed immediately. So she's fighting because she's good at killing zombies. She's excellent. Better than some of the boys. But she doesn't want that life of being a bodyguard basically for the rest of her life. And then all of a sudden people start disappearing from her area. This book is definitely going to be a sequel. It was very interesting. It took place in 2 places, like Baltimore and Baltimore County, and then out west later on in the book. This is going to be a sequel. The way it ended, you can tell there's going to be a second book. I'm looking forward to reading the second book. I love the first book. The cover is beautiful. It's kind of like I wouldn't say suede, but like a matte finish. And the edges are frayed. Let me see if you can see that. Yes. So I know it's a word for this. I can't think of it right now. But so the book is nice. It's a beautiful book. And it was very entertaining. It dealt with a lot of racial issues. But it wasn't heavy-handed. It was just the times. And they thought they were doing better by offering this opportunity for the black and the Native Americans. But in the end, it's kind of just another form of slavery. So I would suggest this book. I'm looking for more books by her, Jessica Ireland. She's an excellent writer. It was fast paced. It was very entertaining. I wanted more zombie fights, but the zombie fights that you did get in the book were very entertaining. So I suggest this book. It was excellent. And I may do a full review on it later, but Dread Nation, great book, great book. This next book that I read, the last book I read the month of May, is a book that has been highly talked about all over BookTube, highly publicized because the author received the largest book deal that's ever been given. And it is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Trying to pronounce it right. So I started reading this book, got 40 pages in, and was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this book on Audible because there's a dialect in the book that is an African dialect, and I'm African American, and I don't speak the dialect that they're speaking. So I'm just looking at these words by that point, and I'm like, well, let me get it on Audible so I can hear it and I can understand what is being said but not being said, instead of me just looking at the words. Basically, let me listen to this book. So because they flow back and forth through English and the African dialect that they are speaking, I decided to just do this on Audible, which I suggest anyone do. This book, I'm trying to see if I didn't like it because of all the hype around it, or I did like it but I didn't love it because of all the hype around it. This book is entertaining, but it gets slow at times. I was expecting more from this book, and that's the thing I think is a negative about BookTube. If you're a watcher of BookTube and you enjoy it and you enjoy reading articles about the authors and things like that, there's so much hype around these books that when you finally read it, you're just like, I mean, it was good. They're already turning this book into a movie. I don't think I'll do a full review on this book. Again, I say I give this book 3.5 stars. I think the main character is developed out, but the other characters aren't as developed as I would want them to be. This book is basically about a young girl who has magical powers, and her mother had magical powers, and she died her mother was killed by the government, you could say, the king, the monarchy. And the king wants to get rid of anything that resembles magic because he clearly fears it. So he tries to get rid of all the elders in the magical world so that they can't teach the younger ones, because you don't get your magic until a certain age. You can't teach the younger ones how to use their magic. So if you eliminate all the elders, you have no one to pass on traditions to the younger generation. So magic just disappears. And this young lady ends up coming in contact with a magical artifact that brings her magic back. But in that process, the princess of this king ends up becoming a criminal. And then there's a love story between the main character and his brother and the princess, and then the main character and the prince. And it's just all over the place. It was enjoyable. I would say this would be a good book. I would read this to my children because it's an adventure, but it's not, as an adult, I was just like, okay, it's good. I guess that's it. If you're comparing this to Harry Potter, don't. Point blank, period. Sorry. But I am interested in seeing the movie when they finally create that. I know I've read that they're in the process of getting that started now. There is a sequel already coming out, and they said the name of the sequel in this book, but didn't reference it as the sequel. But a line in the book is the name of the sequel. I'll have to look that up. I'll put it below or put it right here. But and I am going to read the sequel. So maybe I did like it more than I'm leading on to. But I don't know. I think it was the hype around this book that I really didn't get. I wanted more from it. It just seems like, you know, those books where they move from situation to situation to situation, but they don't really live in the situations. So it's just moving so fast. It's a good adventure book. Basically she's on a trip throughout the majority of the book and trying to bring magic back. So if that at all sounds any interesting to you, I would suggest this book. Read it for yourself. Don't go into it trying to expect it to be something that you think it is because there's so much hype around this book. But truly read it for yourself and decide on your own. Would I say is worth, how many pages is it worth all 522 pages? No, a lot of this book I was just like, all right, can we get on with it? Like, can we just move it along? But it ended, and the way it ended, I was just like, no. But again, it wasn't all that great. I don't know. I'm cold. Read the book. It's worth reading. It's definitely worth reading. So that's my feelings about Children of Blood and Bones. And surprisingly, I've come across a couple of booktubers that kind of feel the same way, like lukewarm about it. Maybe the second book will be better, but I'm all about supporting Black authors, and I say go get the book. It is definitely an adventure. So if you're into that, you will like this book. So that was my May wrap up. At the end of all of my videos, I try to put in what I'm currently reading. So the book that I'm currently reading was sent to me by Right On Publishers for a review, and I'm in about maybe a quarter way through the book, and that is Ruined by D.E. Eliot. So this is what I'm currently reading. I will do a complete review on this book. So far, I'm in love. This is a book. I like books that does the POV chapters, like point of view from this person, point of view from this person, point of view from this person during the same time span. And that's what this book seems like to me so far. And it's all based on one event. And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm only about 50, 60 pages in right now. So this is what I'm currently reading, and I will do a full review when I'm finished. So thanks for watching my videos. Like, comment, subscribe, hit a thumbs up. If you're in Philly, say what's up. Everybody had a great Pride. Philly Pride was parade was, I think, last Sunday. Happy Pride Month. And everybody say what's up? And I'm back, so look forward to more videos and greatness on Worth the Read. Peace out, guys. Boop.